Hello everybody, my name is Sam Neerink, and I'll be talking today about 4 examples of Maine water birds. And yes, a heron does eat a koi. Our first species is the mallard, or Anas platyrhynchos. Common in most of the northern hemisphere, the mallard is the most familiar wild duck for many. While in their iconic breeding plumage, males have green, shiny heads and white and gray bodies. Females, on the other hand, are brown and speckled. Both species take on the female appearance when not in breeding season, and have iridescent blue markings on the bases of their wings throughout the year. These individuals were filmed on a pond in the town commons of Brunswick, Maine. An interesting fact, the mallard duck is the ancestor of most domesticated ducks. Omnivores, mallard ducks eat mostly plant material, including grasses, weeds, and seeds. They also will eat smaller aquatic animals. Mallards forage in water through a process called dabbling, in which they submerge their upper halves in the water with their feet and lower ends in the air. They will dive on occasion. However, this is very rare. On land, mallards find seeds and roots by digging around in the earth. Our second species is the great blue heron, taxonomic name Ardea herodias. The largest heron in North America and a familiar sight for many, the great blue heron is common across the United States and into Mexico. Here we have an immature great blue heron. It hasn't yet developed its full adult plumage. A tall bird, it is grayish-blue with a speckled belly and darker feathers mixed throughout. As an adult, it will lose the dark speckling and gain more blue feathers and multiple head plumes. Great blue herons have a highly adaptable and varied diet. They eat mostly fish but will not scarf at turtles, rodents, and other small animals. These herons hunt by staying still or walking very carefully, causing very little disturbance with their long legs. When they spot prey, they will strike incredibly quickly with their S-shaped neck and long bill. They then swallow the prey whole, as will soon be seen. This heron was spotted in the koi pond behind Grease and Hockey Rink at Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine. It seemed to be very adapted to humans, apparently undisturbed by the field hockey game going on quite close by, as well as by the many people and dogs walking around the pond. Although I was unfortunately unable to capture this individual in the act of striking for a fish, I was lucky enough to film it swallowing a koi. This individual had been spotted living in the same pond as the mallards in the Brunswick town commons. Given the amount of ducks in the pond, and the fact that the great blue heron relies on stealth and little disturbance to the water for its hunting, I expect it headed to the koi pond to avoid the disturbance to its prey that those ducks must have caused. It was only scared off when a particularly excited dog began to bark at it. Even though it was completely dark at this point, this individual appeared perfectly fine with continuing its search for food in that darkness. An interesting note, because of its highly adaptable diet, the great blue heron is able to live in many places. In fact, it can overwinter throughout very harsh conditions, provided there is open water left. The ring-billed gull, or Larus delawarensis, is found with equal frequency by water and in dumps and fields. Ring-billed gulls are one of the most common birds in America, with a range spanning the entire country and into Mexico. Identified by its black-tipped gray wings, white body, and yellow or gray bill with a black ring around the end, this bird has adapted very thoroughly to civilization. Consummate omnivores, ring-billed gulls eat fish, earthworms, grain, rodents, and refuse. Additionally, as you all have no doubt observed, these birds will often eat items in dumps or those otherwise cast off or forgotten by humans. Seen here with other species of gull and seabird in a tidal mudflat at Wharton Point in Brunswick, Maine, the individuals depicted are likely foraging for mud snails, oysters, clams, or other tidal organisms. Highly social, ring-billed gulls often associate and nest with other species of gulls, such as California and herring gulls. For our final bird, and my favorite one, we have the common loon, or Gavia immer. Seen here in its iconic breeding plumage, the common loon can be identified by its black head and bill, red eyes, white underbelly, and black wings, and back speckled with white. Male and female have the same coloration, with the males being slightly larger. This bird is considered a symbol of wilderness by many, and its yodeling and moaning calls are familiar sounds in many bodies of water. In winter, these birds migrate from inland lakes to the ocean shores and change their plumage to more muted colors. They also remain quite silent during this time. Loons are monogamous and remain in their breeding pairs for up to 7 years. Here's an example of one such breeding pair. The ones shown are located in South Branch Pond in Baxter State Park in the state of Maine. Loons are very strong swimmers. Their diet is composed largely of small fish, which they catch and eat underwater. The only prey they bring to the surface to eat are larger fish. Their strong legs, so in Gainland land, are incredibly useful underwater due to their positioning. In fact, diving is so vital to loons that their young are capable of doing it far before flight, beginning to dive at 2 to 3 days of age. A pair will settle on a large lake or pond and defend it fiercely, as loons are very territorial birds. They will claim their territory using their yodeling calls, and will also survey it in the air, defending it with more loud calls. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in learning more, the Audubon Society and the Cornell Lab of Ornithology are both excellent resources.